Hi guys, so in the past I've been extremely critical of the Speaker of the House for not standing up to the likes of Boris Johnson and his government, allowing ministers just to run roughshod over Parliament. But finally he seems to have grown some proverbials and he's standing up to Boris Johnson and his government now. Now this was a point of order that was raised by Valerie Vaz Labour MP about conduct of ministers and information that should actually be delivered to Parliament but is actually being leaked to the media first. Let's see what the Speaker of the House had to say about it.
Is it relevant to these questions?
It is very relevant.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know it's unusual to take points of order before statements, but this is a matter of extreme importance. At 11:14 it was announced that you could find out which tier you were in via a journalist rather than the statement to the House. Now, I know the Secretary of State is standing outside. I think this is an absolutely appalling way to treat Parliament. Could I have your advice on whether this was an appropriate thing to do? In fact, the website has crashed because everybody is on it. There's no point in being in this chamber, Mr. Speaker, where we should hear the announcement first. We might as well be sitting remotely, which the Leader of the House isn't allowing. Could I have your advice on whether this was an appropriate way to deal with the tiers? Important information.
What I would say is it's still a point of order to the Chair, but I do have an opinion. This House, and I'm sure the Leader of the House totally agrees with me.
The Leader of the House is Jacob Rees-Mogg. Jacob Rees-Mogg doesn't agree with you. Jacob Rees-Mogg agrees with whatever the government present.
The House should be informed first. We keep telling the government that is the way that good government should treat and respect this chamber. It is not acceptable to put it online. The only good thing is about the government, it's crashed, so it's not helpful. So it might be that we do get the statement first, but it is not acceptable. I do say, once again, I know the leader will pass on, in the strongest terms, this House should hear it first. We are elected to hear it first, and they should give the respect that this House deserves. I don't know the leader wants to comment. Should we leave it at that? Oh.
Why do they not hear it first? Because Boris Johnson and his government have no respect for the House of Commons. You know, when will people understand? They have zero respect for the House of Commons. In a way, sometimes they leak information to the public to understand how the public will react to it. If it's positive, then we run with it. If it's negative, then we just say, oh, that was leaked information, and we deny its existence. How is it possible that the government are releasing information to the press before releasing it to Parliament? Now, I don't know exactly what the motivation was here. It could be that they didn't want to debate on it because they're afraid of what's happening at the moment, that there is a rebellion growing within the Conservative Party. Boris Johnson needs to rely on the Labour Party to get these measures through Parliament. He has an 80-seat majority, and he's in such a weak position that he needs to rely on the opposition to get his policies through. So maybe leaking it to the media first was in a way to thwart the rebellion, in a sense. Look, the public know about it. The public are preparing for it. What's the point in rebelling? What's the point in having a debate? What's the point in having a Parliament if you're not going to conduct business with Parliament? If you're not going to respect Parliament? Boris Johnson might as well just rule by decree. You may as well just close the Parliament, have a dictatorship. What's the point in having a Parliament if the information runs directly from the government to the media and bypasses Parliament? Now, I know some people may find, well, this is not so serious. It's nothing to be so concerned about. This is fundamental to democracy. This is the role of Parliament. I understand that the House of Commons is quite, old-fashioned, maybe backward in some sense. But it has a purpose. It should be respected. MPs are elected by their constituents to represent those people, to represent those voters. And by bypassing Parliament, you're disrespecting not just the MPs. To hell with the MPs. You're disrespecting the voters. You're disrespecting the people who put those MPs in those places. I'm glad that the Speaker stood up and challenged this, but unfortunately he has no real power when it comes to punishing Boris Johnson or his government over this type of behaviour. And I feel that because he's not going to be punished, Boris Johnson is just going to continue to do this. There's no mechanism to punish him or the ministers. You know, strongly written letters are not going to change Boris Johnson's behaviour. They're doing it in this way because it allows them to avoid scrutiny, avoid criticism, avoid rebellions in a sense as well. Let me know in the comment section, guys, why you think they did it this way. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.